Good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us. Welcome to the December Tell Talk, celebrating and how are you with Corey Woosley, Nikki Lepowski, and myself, Christy Berg from Child Care Aware of Minnesota's coordinating office. Tell Talks, or Topics for Early Learning Leaders, are monthly webinars for early childhood program leaders to facilitate solutions-focused discussions for your questions about the early childhood field in Minnesota. These one-hour webinars do not meet the standards for a formal professional development event, and participants will not receive a certificate of completion. Tell Talks are designed as a community-building opportunity for leaders to engage and share ideas surrounding a specific content area. The Tell Talks team consists of Nikki Lepowski, Quality Improvement Coordinator, and myself, Christy Berg, Workforce Advising Coordinator. We work with Corey Woosley and Katie Hoffman at Child Care Aware to coordinate Tell Talks. Some of our previous topics have included supporting children in an era of racism and police brutality, and families experiencing homelessness and housing instability. On Thursday, January 21st, my coworker, Kateri Skunas, and I will lead the Tell Talk on professional development advising. Now you can watch previous Tell Talk recordings. Check out the career advancement page of our website. After today's presentation, you will receive an email from us with our PowerPoint slides, along with the resources we have shared. You'll be able to access the link to the career advancement page from this slide. Child Care Aware of Minnesota is a resource and referral network for early childhood education in the state. We assist families in finding a quality childcare program. We support the professional growth of early childhood educators with professional development opportunities, eager to learn online training, parent scholarships, and trainer and RBPD support. We keep the community informed on the importance of childcare. Child Care Information Services is a department within CCA that specializes in statewide information sharing, assisting families looking for childcare. CIS sends a welcome packet to new programs, and every 3 years, survey programs about their business policies and tuition rates. CCIS receives calls from program leaders with general questions and can route you to the appropriate person to contact. Child Care Aware partners with Center for Inclusive Childcare. CICC has a team of coaches across the state ready to support the changing needs of childcare providers. They offer both individual and small group coaching. Currently, all coaching is virtual. In response to the pandemic, CICC has designed coaching focused on supporting programs as they navigate through challenges currently impacting care. Participants may choose the traditional option of 30 hours of coaching or a shorter option of 5 to 10 hours. To request support, programs should contact CICC. Achieve, Minnesota Center for Professional Development, supports individual, trainer, and RBPD membership applicants, approves courses, and training events. The Achieve MNCPD website has several resources to share, including a job board, policy info, membership help, info on how to track down your high school diploma, and a virtual career guide. Visit www.mncpd.org to see more. The Tell Talks team partners with several other organizations to offer coordinated resources surrounding early care and education needs. As always, participants of Tell Talks are able to utilize the chat function and question function in GoToWebinar throughout the presentation. We ask that you please share your questions and thoughts on today's topic with us. We will read the questions and comments aloud during the broadcast. I'm excited to turn it over to our other two presenters today, Corey Woosley and Nikki Lepowski, to join me for today's topic, celebrating and how are you?
Thanks, Christy.
All right, so I think we're ready to go. First of all, hey, I want to just take a minute and reflect back on the Achieve slide, because this is a new, what you all saw was a new half-page document they have. Oh, good, nice to flip back there, Nick. Way to support me. And this, if you guys want, we can send this out. In fact, I think I'll just say, Christy, let's send this out with the after email, because it's a nice half-page doc that talks a lot about the resources. And I know we all have a lot of questions for Achieve, and they do great work as one of our partners. So thanks, Nikki. I wanted to flash back to that. All right, so we're here today, and our plan is to take a minute to hear from you and then also to celebrate you, as you'll note by the tiara. Can you guys, can they see me? Oh, yeah, everybody can see me? Oh,
Yeah.
cool, because I'm wearing a tiara. So, and Katie's got a little party hat on, and Nikki had a big hat on, but I don't see it anymore. So hang with us. We're going to spend a little time listening to you. We are going to solicit some input from you, so I hope you'll be brave. And when we talk about sharing stories, you'll be able to share those with us. All right. Next up, and Christy did a lovely job of introducing us. I want to make sure I acknowledge Katie too. I do want to also let you know, back on when these pictures were taken, this is when we used to comb our hair. So I don't comb my hair anymore. Ever since March, I've kind of given that up. We just put tiaras on. So note, comb hair 2020. And if you all had pictures up, you may look the same too, just saying. All right, moving on. So when we were thinking about what we wanted to do today, I was reminded of the saying, "And how are the children?" And for those of you that have been around a little bit longer, 20 to 40 years like me, there was a time when there was a bumper sticker made. I don't know if Kristen Wheeler's here, because I know she would remember that, but there was a bumper sticker made, and at that time it wasn't from the Department of Human Services, but we were represented in child care by what they called the Department of Children, Family, and Learning, which was honestly a great concept. It didn't end up lasting, but it had MDE and the Department of Health and the Department of Human Services together, and we all were looking out for children, and we were all housed under one roof. And they had this bumper sticker, "And how are the children?" So I'm going to read you the little story. Just bear with me a second as I read. If you lose focus, stare at my crown. Among the most accomplished and fabled tribes of Africa, no tribe was considered to have warriors more fearsome or more intelligent than the mighty Maasai. It is perhaps surprising then to learn the traditional greeting that passed between the Maasai warriors, Kaseria Ingera, and I may be saying that wrong. One would always say to another, it means, "And how are the children?" It is still the traditional greeting among the Maasai, acknowledging the high value that the Maasai always place on their children's well-being. Even warriors with no children of their own would always give the traditional answer, "All the children are well," meaning, of course, that peace and safety prevail, that the priorities of protecting the young, the powerless are in place, and the Maasai society has not forgotten its reason for being, its proper functions and responsibilities. All the children are well, and that means life is good. The fable begs the question of the effect on our consequences or our consciousness of our own children's welfare. If in our culture that we took to greeting each other with this same daily question, "And how are the children?" one wonders if we heard that question and it passed along to each other a dozen times a day, would it begin to make a difference in the reality of how the children are? What if every adult among us, every parent and non-parent alike, felt an equal weight for the daily care and protection of all the children in our town, in our state, in our country? Could we truly say without hesitation, "The children are well"? Ah, yes, the children are well. What would it be like if the president began a conference, every public appearance, by answering the question, "And how are the children, Mr. President?" And if every governor of every state had to answer the same question at every press conference, "And how are the children, Governor? Are they well?" Wouldn't it be interesting to hear their responses? So pause on that for a second. So as we think about that, we're going to spend just a few minutes with Christy, and she's going to talk a bit about what we're currently doing at Child Care Aware, But what we want you to resonate on throughout her presentation is to think, how would we answer that question? Obviously, it's a little bit different right now, but what do you need from us? Because that is the goal of our TELTalks team, the 4 of us here today, is to support you and to bring you what you need, what we think you need, but what you need. And there aren't a lot, well, this might not be true. I was gonna say there aren't a lot of people that I'd wear a crown for, but I will always don my tiara for early childhood educators that are so deserving of everything we can give them. So, so let's listen to Christy. Think about what we can do for you. Think about what you can tell us, and we'll be listening to that in a little bit, and then let's celebrate.
That's great. Thank you, Corey. So we're going to take a look on our website here in a moment. Take a look at a few of the resources that Child Care Aware of Minnesota offers. So Nikki, if I can show my screen, we'll take a look at the talks of the past year here first, which again are all available on our website. So we'll spend some time reflecting on where we've been with TELTalks and where we'd like to go. So under the career advancement page of our website, there's this tab called Career Leadership Support. So we'll take a look at all the recordings here, and they actually go beyond, I believe, the last year, because TELTalks been around for a little bit longer than that. And so as we review these topics, I'll ask you to just type into the chat box, if you've been with us for several or even just a few of these, which were the most meaningful and why? So we've had supporting families experiencing homelessness and housing instability, supporting children in an era of racism, police brutality, what is First Children's Finance, preventing expulsion, services for autism spectrum disorder, early childhood leaders, how are you doing, how can we help, mental health consultation, library resource roundup, and the power of interaction, social distancing. So if you have some thoughts on which of those were the most meaningful and maybe a story on why, please let us know in the chat box. And we can go back to the PowerPoint quickly to the next slide, Nikki.
I'll move it over there. Also, as I'm doing that, just wanted to let everyone know or remind them again that if you feel comfortable coming off of mute, please raise your hand or check the hand icon button, and I'm happy to take you off of mute so that you can share whatever you'd like. See if I can get that.
Great. It might be easier to do that than to type all of your thoughts into the chat box.
Okay. See, can you see my screen? Oh. Maybe not.
That's okay. We could stay on the website a bit.
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that.
Great. Thank you. Oh yeah, we can go to the next one with the picture. So I just wanted to say that feedback is important to us, and it's also really helpful if we can use what's called feed forward strategies for the future. So let's think about how to be proactive in the new year and anticipate future needs. So looking ahead to the future, to the next few months, are there guest speakers or topics you would like to learn more about? We can invite previous speakers we've heard from before to elaborate more on topics that we've had, or we can invite new speakers. Is there someone you've heard of that we haven't been in touch with yet? Are you anticipating a new challenge, or are you continuing to address something you would like additional resources for? Please type those ideas into the chat box for 2021. This is your community, and we want to make sure we're responsive and proactive in meeting your needs.
So Christy, just wanted to mention some of the comments that are in response to the previous TELTalks, some things that stuck out. And Karen shares that Cami Howard's conversation and guest speaker on racism and police brutality was really great. Tanisha, welcome. This is her first time attending, so welcome to Tell Talks. And Autumn says, housing instability really stuck with her. She said that the video made her cry. And Linda Hall says, this is good. It's good. So thanks for your comments. Keep them coming.
Feedback. That's great. All right, well, we'll keep going here. I can bring us back to the website, Nikki, if you'll let me.
Yep.
Peek back over there.
There you
go on
go.
a quick mini tour of some other parts of the website here. So we're going to start on our home page. So I wanted to point out to you these 3 tiles here. These 3 tiles, we rotate content throughout the year. So I just wanted to say, check back periodically to see what's new. Right now we're featuring retain bonuses, teach scholarships, and the director credential. A little bit about the director credential. We're currently taking registrations for the online director credential, which offers valuable information in the areas of administration, supervision, management, and leadership. And it's offered in collaboration with the Minnesota Association for the Education of Young Children and is recognized by NAEYC, meets all the director training requirements for NAEYC accreditation, plus many state and national director administrative training requirements. So again, it's offered in an online learning community format, which allows flexibility for student learning and also supporting shared learning experiences and active discussions with peers. Participation is open to professionals across the country, including childcare directors, assistant directors, and others currently in or preparing for leadership positions. So if you or someone you know is interested in such an opportunity, please have them send me an email if you'd like more information. And back to the website here. So if you hover over providers up here at the top of the screen, you'll see a drop-down menu that shows options for parent-aware, professional development, and funding opportunities like scholarships and grants. And if you hover over professional development, you'll see another drop-down box appears, and you'll select career advancement to get back to where we were before. Has information about the Child Development Associate Credential, or CDA, higher education, workforce advising, and career leadership support. And again, that's where the Tell Talks are housed. And what we'd eventually like to do here with this section of our website is look at ways to develop it to meet the needs of program leaders even better than we currently are doing. So we'd like to fill it with more information, videos, and other useful tools that'll be helpful to you. So we would love to hear from you in the chat box what you'd like to see on our website. Is there content that we're missing? Any ideas that come up for you? We're really open and interested in hearing what you have to say. So yeah, we've got CDA, higher ed, workforce advising, information about professional development advisors, power to the profession, higher ed, links to the Teach Scholarship Program, and then CDA support. If you are working on your CDA or you have staff in your program who are putting together their portfolio and would like a little support, we have a CDA portfolio assistance request form, and we can coordinate to have a portfolio specialist work with your staff if they fill that out. Anything coming up in the chat box, Nikki? And we can go back to the PowerPoint too.
Okay, great. So Amy shares that she is a new director in Minnesota, and she would love a training on supporting teachers with their professional development requirements. So sounds like she's specifically talking about parent aware requirements for every 2 years for her staff, but if there's other ideas for professional development, this would be a great comment. So yeah.
Awesome. So then if you'll take us, Nikki, to the slide that has like the screenshot of the website. Should be the next one. There it is. So we just added this slide to the PowerPoint today as a resource to show you where we went on our little mini tour today. So you'll have that available in the follow-up email, the PowerPoint with the slides. And we reached out to program leaders with an ask for you to share some stories with us today. And if you didn't write in to us ahead of time, that's okay. So we wanted to hear, how have you been sharing resources and ideas with others this year? Maybe you've used something specific that you learned in a TEL Talk. We're curious, what challenges have you worked through and how were you helped to do so? And then finally, if you'd like to share, what are some of your goals for 2021? And like Nikki said, if anyone is feeling brave throughout our presentation, we can take you off of mute.
Christy, just wanted to mention that there was a share for the previous question too, just looking for more opportunities to have trainings. So we're gonna, just so that everyone knows, we will capture all of the questions and comments from today and incorporate those into 2021 and follow up with you all.
I'd also add that somebody had mentioned that they were interested in learning about PD for their staff, and of course we can, you can go back to the storytelling. Thanks, Nikki. Of course we can redo that, but Sharon did that TEL Talk probably a year ago last summer. So if you do go back into the archives that Christy pointed out, you'll find one there, but certainly looking more and focusing more at Parent Aware would be great. So we are going to talk about sharing stories, and again we put a call out, but so many people were shy, can't even believe that, about bringing their stories in. So I'm gonna set the stage for us and just give you a thought about some of the things that I'm hearing, and see if you can chime in. And again, we can unmute you for that. Well, I can't, but Nikki can. So I just give her the look, and then she unmutes me. Not me. People just mute me. So I teach at the college, as many of you know. I teach at Minneapolis College, and I have been teaching practicum this summer, or this fall. It certainly wasn't summer, this fall, and a lot of my students have been going out to programs. And I know I've mentioned this to you all before, that we are struggling to find placements for students. But for the students that did go out there, the stories were heartbreaking. A lot of them. I shared one with my staff at the office about being afraid. The teachers were afraid. They were afraid they would get sick. They were afraid they would close down and they wouldn't get paid. They were afraid because of the stress of the children. And I've been teaching at Minneapolis College for 26 years, and this is the first time I've ever felt that fear among our students and our teachers. And a lot of these students are also full-time teachers. So so cheer me up here, people. Bring something else. But what kind of things are you hearing around that, and what's actually happening out in the field right now?
Corey, Lily is sharing that just in relation to some of the training resources and things like that, that Better Kid Care from Penn State's been a resource for them, and that she's been giving her staff lots of space and time to get caught up on PD, and that their program was closed for 4 months. And right after hiring some new teachers, they had closed. But the BKC module has been so accessible, it helps her to work around teacher schedules and training during the workday. So yeah, Lily, thanks a lot for sharing. We're trying to incorporate, and Corey and Christy again can chime in here because that's their forte, but making opportunities available to you that work for your schedule. I think everyone has, including systems, have pivoted, I guess you would say, and try to adapt to what you need. So thanks for sharing, Lily. Karen looks like she just wanted to cheer on, let Christy know that cheer for the wonderful work she's observed this year. And yep, Karen, we'll chime in on your share in a little bit later too. So thank you.
Mhm. Any stories about what's happening? Anything you want to tell us? I know when we did a similar workshop this summer, we heard from a lot of you little tips about what you were doing. Like I opened up my Facebook page, and I was able to communicate, or we did. I know a lot of the Head Start delivered food, or we did goodie bags to send home. So I was thinking about that because when we first did that session, I guess it was actually in April, we were fresh home, we were enthusiastic. So how are those things going still? Are you still able to keep up with them, or what's happening?
Corey, you have a couple shares in the comments, and
Good,
then
good.
Amy would like to come off mute so she can share too.
Perfect.
So let's, Chris Bentley says that they have not closed any days except for a few days for staff development that were planned, and that her classroom staff are doing okay, but the exclusion piece is hard, especially financial implications, and administratively feeling tired, feeling exhausted,
Yeah.
not feeling a sense of relief, and that also translates to parents are stressed too. And but she does mention that kids are doing pretty well. I think that's a message we're hearing maybe from a lot of people. So thanks for sharing, Chris. She also shares that the challenge for leadership right now is working hard to support staff and not a lot of support for their own self-care. And that self-care is not existing. She says, signed Debbie Downer. Oh, Chris,
Right.
that it's reality, and I think it's important to share that because this is your community.
Mhm. So Nikki, I'm going to just chime in there because I've had this conversation with Katie on some of our lake walks too, is who's filling your bucket? And a lot of us have read the book, Fill Your Bucket. I can't remember it, just shovel the book, stuff in the bucket. But anyways, and who is filling your bucket? And I think that's a really important point that Chris brought up, is that we can only give from what we have stored up in our bucket, and a lot of us are feeling the depleted bucket. So I thank you, Chris, for stopping and saying we are depleted. Who's filling our bucket?
Amy, I'm going to take you off mute in just a quick second. I just also want to get to these two here. Karen shares that she's really grateful for her team. So colleagues, I'm hearing, is a big theme too. The extra support with her fellow coaches, and the option to have Zoom meetings to share ideas and get support with questions. And Lily recaps too that, you know, things have been hard, but parents seem to have lowered their expectations a little bit, and that the parents are really just happy that the program's open and there for them. So recognizing that, and that the kids were so happy to be back at school. So that's been really lovely to see each day, she shares. And then Linda shares that the biggest challenge is just to implement changes and the ever-changing requirements, things I think is what she might be referring to, and everything else as close to normal as possible. And sharing again that parents are really, really grateful. So
Yeah.
without further ado, Amy, I want to take you off of mute. So I've unmuted you. You should be able to go ahead and share.
Yeah, I just wanted to share one of the resources that's been really helpful for my role as director is there's a group of other directors, and we kind of do like once a month a Zoom, but also send emails to each other. So as we're kind of all navigating these ever-changing guidance or having new questions come up from families or staff and things like that, it's been helpful to just bounce ideas off of each other. And I think that's been really helpful because there's just been so many unknowns. And I think for me, one of the biggest challenges was feeling like we're doing everything we can to follow best practice and safety, but then you have different kind of families or staff that want different things to happen, and some are, more strict than the guidance, some are, ways you could interpret the guidance. So I think navigating that's been really challenging, and we've just been trying to be as upfront and transparent as possible, and kind of that's helped too, is just hosting webinar periodically for families about our pandemic policies, and giving them a chance to ask questions has made, I think, families feel more safe and comfortable. So.
That's awesome, Amy, because what you did is you just gave us all a lesson on who's filling your bucket and how we could emulate that with other groups, whether we try to do it through Child Care Aware, or, you just find your own little circle of directors, which of course we would be glad to help you with. But Christy, my brain's going bing, bing, bing. What could we do on the website to help with this too? Because that's a bucket filler. That's absolutely. Thank you so much, Amy. That's wonderful. Do we have any more?
Yeah, and Darla
good.
just comments on, Amy, what you mentioned about that Zoom. She sounds like she's interested in it. She says she's curious if that once a month Zoom is for all directors or just something that certain regions, districts, or organizations are doing. So I think that hits right on what, kind of where you think you were going, Corey, was, how can we help facilitate something like that too?
Yeah.
That's all that's in the question box at this time.
Okay, so I'm going to throw out another question to y'all, because I don't know why I keep getting this email from people, because it seems really out of my job description, but people keep saying, what can I get for my early childhood teacher this year? And, I came from a time where we all got monogram towels or applique kitchen towels. So and then somebody said the new thing is Starbucks cards. But what do you want for a gift from your families? People keep emailing me, what should I get my director? What should I get my teacher? And I'm like, get them a monogram towel, man. That's what I got. I got a lot of applique towels. All right, Nikki, you're sharing this one.
All right. Well, I just wanted to say in response to your question, is I just actually talked to a director this week, and we were waiting for something in develop to process, and she said, I really wish my parents could just, we could just have like more time in the day or something like that. And we were joking, right? Because like time is of the essence with lots of things. And funny enough, she emailed me later because she had a parent come in and give her a new clock that was specifically broken, and it had a little thing written next to it that said, you make time for yourself any day. And so I think it was just a fun little reminder that maybe somebody can't give you that time, but you maybe can figure out a way for it yourself. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, the gift of time.
We got quite a few responses too, so let's see what they're saying. Yeah, thanks all for your participation. Amy, that's a really great share. She says our staff like outdoor gear stores because they're a nature program. Yep.
Okay.
Hearing about gift cards, places for eating, massages, maybe when things lighten up a little, right? Someone bought a kit for My Intent bracelets. Check it out. It's pretty cool. Each person gets to engrave their own word. Cool.
Oh, throw that link in your chat box so we can copy and paste
Chris,
it. And I can
go
get
ahead
it
and
from
put that in there.
Okay.
We're hearing wine and chocolate is good. Had a family drop off half liters of wine and fancy bag of chips for every teacher. It was very well received. Local restaurants and support, food, treats. We all like food, I think. I heard about a family or a few families that donated on behalf of their program to the local food shelf.
Okay.
Or vets. What else?
Did you say a Corvette?
No. No, that would be really
rude.
nice.
That's a little over the top.
Donations on behalf of veterans for vets.
Oh, veterans. Okay, get it. I'm sorry. I thought I'm an old lady. I thought you said Corvettes, and I thought, well, that's not asking too much. So, all right. Okay, so let's address the last question here that Christy had, and then we'll move into our final celebration. what are your goals for 2021? And I, as most of you or many of you know me anyways, I am not really big on challenges. I'm bigger on opportunities. I am noted for living life through rose-colored glasses, which is great. Sometimes it's not always practical, but I'm not really practical either. So what are your goals? And I like to think of 2020 as an opportunity. Look at Nikki. She is looking at those rose-colored glasses with the slight blue tinge. So let's talk about goals for 2021. And then as we listen to these and gather these, we want to think about ways we can help you. So it may take us a little bit longer to get our recap email out because we've got to do a little brainstorming. And some of us have a lot of vacation time to use up before 2021. My goal is to start using it earlier next year. So what are your goals? What are you thinking about?
Thanks, Corey. I see that some people are typing. So again, just a
Okay.
reminder that if you would like to come off a mute, just click the hand icon button and we'd love for you to share. If your hand's currently up, just click the button again and it makes your hand go down. Let's see what we got in the questions box. All right. Oh, Lily mentions that she forgot to share a resource earlier, but they've been offering to pick up the food boxes from the Minneapolis Public Schools once a week. And then because some of the teachers also need those boxes. So we're seeing the same workers at South High every week and supporting
Nice.
families and staff that are, facing potential food insecurities. And they're developing that relationship, our continued relationship with their schools. So thank you.
Oh, thanks, Lily.
In response to your question, Corey, Linda shares a mission trip in April. She's like,
Nice.
so I'm a better business owner when I return.
Mm-hmm. Fill your own bucket, Linda. If you can't get anybody to shovel it in, fill it yourself, sister. Goals are hard. That's why we do SMART goals and break them down. Is Karen Bradley on here?
She is. Karen, your
You ought to
hand's
know how to
raised,
set a goal,
actually.
man.
Karen, I'm going to unmute you because your hand's raised and see what you had to share there about your goal. So go ahead. Oh, you're muted yourself.
There, I thought I lowered it, sorry.
That's okay.
But I'll say out loud again how grateful I am for my team and how they fill my bucket. So
Good.
that's all I got.
Thank you. Goals for 2021, work-related, more dedicated staff development and teacher reflection time. And then a personal goal for 2021 that Lily shared was relearn to play the piano. Nice.
Very good. Nice. Nice. All right. Well, goals are hard, and we kind of put you on the spot. So, and obviously I didn't answer that because my goal was to use my vacation early, which was really stupid, but goals are hard. So let's go ahead and move on, Nikki, if we don't have any more.
Corey, just want to quick share that I think is relatable to probably everyone on this call here. Just as a leader and early childhood educator, we take on a lot. And Katie shares just working on asking for help when she needs it and delegating tasks that others are fully capable to complete. Thanks for being transparent, Katie. I think that's something that's really applicable to this whole group. So nice share.
You can skip this slide. It was my. There we go. All right. So we had a couple people. I had reached out to several people as well as our staff, and we had asked them to share a few things about celebrating with you. So I'm not gonna. Katie, are you still here? Is Katie still here? Maybe you can read these. Maybe you can read these since we included you, since you're part of our team.
I'll go ahead and unmute you, Katie, if you're available. No, maybe not. Got so excited with my decorations. Okay, there we go, Katie, you're unmuted.
All right, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, wait, is Karen here? Maybe Karen wants to read her own. Is Karen Foster Jorgensen here?
Yep, she is. Karen, let me go ahead and
Let's
unmute you too. Okay, Karen, you're unmuted.
Okay, thank you very much. I relate back to what Corey was saying about the filling of the bucket. I think many of us who have the opportunity and the honor all year to work with directors and leaders in our field hope that one of the things that we really can do is to be bucket fillers for directors and leaders. And because the leaders and the directors are filling everybody else's buckets. And we often talk about the fact that the leadership position is a lonely spot without a peer group, which is why the directors groups that someone mentioned are so important, and coming together in different kinds of classes and gathering places where leaders can be and support each other when nobody else may be supporting them. And so we consider ourselves the cheerleaders of the leaders, and that's a role that, thank you, Corey, a role that I've enjoyed for a very long time, and I'm so glad that we can do that. And I need to get, I have more hats and beautiful things like you do, but I don't have them here with me right now. I am in Minnesota. But I wanted to, what we put up on the slide, I really wanted to say that we have seen wisdom and persevering and caring in 2020 way beyond all expectations. And it's such a credit to the strength of our leaders in Minnesota and beyond. One example is we started a new cohort in January of the director's credential, and when we celebrated the end of that in November, I said, well, I think you are the COVID cohort. And they said, well, we will go down in infamy, I guess, as the cohort who had to deal with COVID issues the entire time that they were in our 8 classes and their practicum projects. And I was so impressed every day from the very beginning at how well they did, how they managed change and unknowns, and working with their staff and working with their parents, managing their finances and all the things that they had to do during the year. And it's just, it's so rewarding to see what you all as directors do. And we talked about, some of you talked about self-care, and we know that directors aren't particularly good at that, because you're caring for everybody else before you're caring for yourselves. But I just wanted to just send out a cheer for all of you, and for all the Child Care Aware staff as well, for all that you've done this year and that you continue to do, and I know you'll continue doing in 2021, just to support our field and continue to make it the absolutely fabulous place to work that it is. And so I just send out my big cheer and applause for all of you, and thank you for giving me a chance to say this, because it's just so important. So thanks much, and happy holidays from some of us bucket fillers.
That was lovely, Karen. Thank you. And for those, I think most of you have probably heard of Karen, but she has been with Eager to Learn almost the entire time we've been around. And I think, if I'm correct, Christy, it's our 26th or 27th, our 26th director credential that we're starting. So bravo to Karen too. Oh yeah, nice, Nick. All right.
So Corey, I think we have quite a few people interested in sharing. I keep seeing people ready to type, but then they disappear. So again, if you want to add any comments, stories, feel free to type them in the questions box.
Yep, we can. Let's go through our last 2 slides, and then we'll open it up to listen to everybody else toot our horns, put their hats on. Katie can read this one.
Sure. Can you hear me? Okay. This one is from our Executive Director, Ann McCauley at Child Care Aware of Minnesota. She contributed this to this presentation. She said, as a director of a nonprofit agency, I know all too well how challenging this time has been for all of us. the need to balance the needs of your staff, the families you serve, and your own self-care, trying to string together funding, meet health and safety protocols, and keep things afloat is exhausting. None of us have a roadmap for this. It's our first pandemic, and yet somehow you have continued on, providing a critical service at a time when families need you more than ever. Thank you for that, and please know how very much you are admired and appreciated. Thanks, Nikki.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Anne. And we have one more. I don't know. Is Kristen Wheeler here? Okay.
Oh, okay, well, I can read it. So this one's from
Okay.
Kristen. She's an early childhood advocate and a lifelong professional. And she says, staying sane during COVID-19 has been stressful for many. Our ECE leaders have brought compassion, creativity, and empathy with them into this fight. True, authentic self-care and a sense of humor will serve you well. Why fit in when you were born to stand out? Thanks, Kristen.
Thanks, Kristen. All right, let's hear what our audience has to say.
Corey, I think everyone's just quiet today. No,
Oh,
nothing in the
nice.
question box yet.
Okay, I thought they were typing. All right. Do I have another slide or was that the last one? Oh. Okay.
I can share
All
a
right.
story quick, Corey, that I heard.
Okay. Okay,
Just
perfect.
really quickly. I work, in my role, I work with directors and program leaders, family childcare owners all the time. And I was speaking with a family childcare provider owner last week or this week, I can't remember. I can't keep it straight anymore. And she just shared the success story of how much more relevant and important, I guess, is for lack of better words, her services that she offered to her community were recognized. So she was just saying that she was really feeling a sense of community within her own geographic area and her families and businesses in the area. So she's hopeful that some of these things and her story of how things have been changing through COVID and other things in 2020 will be maybe a way to propel or elevate the early childhood field. So she was just really hopeful that more importance is maybe being looked at specifically at our field and education as a whole.
I do think there are good things to come. Again, put the rose-colored glasses back on, Nick, but there are good things to come. The opportunities that we have are different, and there is a recognition, like Nikki said, that we are essential and we are important, and so perhaps some good will come from this year. I mean, good comes from every year. I got a daughter, for crying out loud. I thought that'd never happen. So so I'm just going to close thinking back to our story and how are the children. And a couple things I heard today were, one is the children, yes, the children are well. And I know there have been challenges. I know there have been some struggles, but overall, what I heard you say is that children are well. What I heard you say is that buckets need to be filled, and I'm hoping we at Child Care Aware can help you, and I hope that this community that we're trying to build through the TEL Talks will help you as well. I'll probably give Christy a few action steps out of here too. So let's think back to what if every adult among us, every parent and non-parent alike, felt an equal weight for the daily care and protection of the children in our town, in our state, in our country. Would we really truly say without hesitation, the children are well? Yep, the children are well. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate your time and we look forward to having you back in 2021.
Thanks for celebrating with us.
Oh, Christy's got her confetti. Nice.